I am super happy to be with Marco Schiavoni of Pizza Metro in Chicago. It is one of the best pizza places in Chicago, and I have known Marco a long time, probably 10, 15 years, ever since I started coming to this pizza place. And today we're going to be talking about restaurants in Chicago and elsewhere, and what the virus means for restaurants. And so, first, just to get started, Marco, give people just a brief, give us the scoop on Pizza Metro. How long has it been around? When did you conceive of this idea? What just give us a little background.
So I came in Chicago in 1996, and I was working for a big company that had various restaurants all over the world back then. And first thing I noticed that there was no Roman square pizza. And I'm from Rome, and it's a very common pizza there. It's the one that you walk in and you get your little slice by the weight, and then you walk and you eat while you're walking. And so, I was working for this company, and I thought maybe in a few years I'm going to be the first one to introduce this concept. And sure enough, in 2001, I opened my first location on Division Street in Wicker Park, and it's been almost 19 years.
19 years.
Yeah, and we're still there. I still there at least. I changed many employees throughout 19 years.
How big
But
is Pizza Metro? Let's give people just a picture of it. It's pretty. It's intimate, shall we say?
it is a very small place. Like the New York Times in 2005 or 2006, they wrote an article on Pizza Metro calling it a hole in the wall.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
hole in. It's kind of a closet, but
it is. It
it's
is
great.
actually. The size was perfect because that's a typical square Roman pizzeria. If you go to
Hmm.
Rome, those pizza places are very small. There is not many seats, barely seats. People usually eat on a counter, and or they take the pizza folded in paper, and they walk while they're eating their pizza. So the size was really right.
Yeah,
Only thing I didn't think that here, you had to have all those seats, but we're still in business. We have a pretty decent carry out and delivery business, and also I think maybe not the best pizza in the city of Chicago, but I think for sure.
oh, don't be modest. But
But we are in the, I think, top 10 in pizza in Chicago for sure, for sure.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, this brings us just to, I guess, if we're talking about the virus, though, with the way there's probably what, 5 seats at a bar in there, and then uh, another what, 5 more seats? How many
Listen,
seats do you think are in the whole place?
we have about 15 stools,
Fif-
because originally the place was an Irish breakfast place. So when I opened, I didn't have much money. I had to try to work with was already in place to avoid major constructions. Um, a lot of people actually find it very attractive, the fact that they are sitting across from the cooks. So
It's
they can
very
see
nice.
it is because they can see actually the cooks making their food. They can see that the kitchen is clean the whole time. We are not hiding behind walls. And also the fact that you can interact with the cook while he's cooking for you, a lot of people finds it really unique.
That's one of my favorite things about going.
Uh,
Uh,
Many customers told me that.
um, yeah, and so it's probably what, I don't know, how many square feet do you
About
think it is?
700 square feet. 700.
700 square feet.
Yeah.
Okay, so 700 square feet. The pizza it is it's pretty unique in Chicago and sort of unique in the world in a way because it's the Roman style, but I like to say it's you have a little bit of more of an American flexibility to it, in that you allow us to just say whatever we want on each slice we get, whereas Italy, no offense to Italy, but it's a bit of a rigid food culture. You know, you tell somebody you want mushrooms and olives and goat cheese on one slice, and they'll go, what? No, we're making this pizza.
Exactly. Exactly. But I mean, in the very beginning, I was like that too. But then, you listen to the customer and they start to open your eyes and they tell you, "Hey, listen, this Roman attitude about you eat what I make, not going to work here." And so, for example, in the beginning, I didn't have chicken as a topping for the pizza. I didn't offer chicken in the pastas. And then one customer told me something that I found hilarious. And he told me, "Listen, if the chickens go extinct, Americans will starve because chicken is put everywhere, in any way you want it, they make it." So at the end, I said, "You know what? Maybe he's right." And I start to introduce, the grilled chicken, pesto chicken, barbecue chicken, buffalo chicken. That's how it is. Also, in Italy, they're very rigid for a reason. We use the toppings based on the season. You find like here when I came, they got strawberry 12 months a year, and I mean, I never see such a thing like that.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's awesome.
I mean, but to a point, as sometimes, because those things are in season, that's their season, that's their flavor, and it's unique because you can just find it for a very short window of time.
True.
And also, it allows to, every season you change the toppings, and some people get the opportunity to try new taste, new flavors, because they are something of the current season, no, from the past season or for the future season. But in America, everything is available 365 days, 24/7. So, hey,
it's true, but it's still like stuff is in season and tastes good at one point and doesn't taste good at another point. So we sort of have that. Okay, so you have been in business since 2001. You're kind of an institution in the neighborhood. This is a little context for everybody. This is it's right by where I live. I lived here for, I don't know, about 13, 14 years in this general area. We're west of downtown. And but it's only like a 10-minute taxi ride to be where you would be downtown. But this is it's very trendy, tons of restaurants, tons of bars. It wasn't always like that. Probably wasn't like that when you moved in. But still, like, this is like restaurant heaven on just on this street. Would you would agree, Marco? I mean, if you wanted to just go to a different restaurant every day of the week for a month, you could.
Division Street is the place, especially now. Not in 2001. In 2001, there was maybe a few coffee house. There was a Polish deli, Alliance Bakery, because it's been there forever. And it used to be gangland. When I first came to Chicago, they told me that Ashland was the border. You will never cross Ashland because if you go west, it was not a safe place to walk. Let's put it. My landlord has a very funny thing that says all the time. He says the same women that used to walk around with those big dogs, today they're pushing a stroller with 2 kids and the same dog that he got hold. It's just it was not. A lot of people thought I was crazy when I opened on Division in 2001 because there was nothing going on, literally nothing going on.
Yeah, but by 2006, 2007,
my God,
you knew what was up.
For me, it was actually the second year in business when the building next door, they shut down the laundromat that they had, and they brought this glorious company which I don't spend a penny in there because I don't like their coffee, which is Starbucks, but definitely Starbucks on the corner brought the light. Change everything.
All right, that brings me to, before we get into all this depressing Corona crap, everybody, I'm announcing to the world, best coffee in Chicago, Pizza Metro, by far.
Best espresso. Maybe not the best pizza. I'm the top 10, but number one espresso in Chicago, Pizza Metro.
Absolutely. No, I don't know how you do it, but after having lived in Italy, I know, and it's just, yes.
I'll tell you a funny story. I made my first espresso and cappuccino at the age of 13. So my parents didn't have much money. And so when I was going to school, I make a lot of pastry in the restaurant. The reason why Pizza Metro makes his own pastry is because I love sweets. I love pastry. So when I was going to school, the guy that ran the bar of the school, he noticed that I was always close to the counter, but I would not purchase nothing. And one day he asked me, why you never buy nothing? I said, because I don't have no money. But I will eat everything if you give it to me. And so he told me, I'm gonna make an offer. He put me, I will come to school half hour before everybody. I will go behind the counter and I start to serve the croissant, the donuts to the teachers and to the students that I could afford it, obviously. And then the next step, he says, now I'm gonna teach you how to run the espresso machine.
Whoa, which is like holy if you're in Rome.
It is like the holy grail for us. And from there, I got this thing, I know how to do the salt of the machine. I know how to clean it. You got to change the thickness of the coffee because it's very sensitive, like also the pizza, to the humidity. Depends on the percentage of the humidity. The coffee has to be grinded in a different thickness. And we follow all of this, but I've been doing it for so many years that for me it's normal. Most of the places, some days you go, you get an espresso and it got that thick cream on top. Then the humidity change and they don't change the thickness of the coffee. And then you go 2 days later and the coffee is completely water. And they think it's the guy behind the machine. No, it's the guy behind the machine that doesn't have the knowledge. The machine is the same. It's just you gotta change the setting on the grinder based on the humidity.
Interesting. But why is your coffee so much better than the other coffee in Chicago? Is it because of your coffee machine that you've brought, the actual coffee you use from Italy? What is, the people who use it, okay, they I'm sure they can hold their own making coffee, but it's not like they're, experienced baristas for a decade or anything, Why is yours better, or can you not tell us?
No. It's first of all because I'm telling you, it's changing the settings on the grinder, and then also I buy an imported coffee from Italy. I use Italian roast coffee. It's called the brand is called Caffè S. Before it used to be called Segafredo, and then the partners they split. And one guy got to keep the Segafredo, which is huge in Italy, and the other partner opened his line. It's called Caffè S. Now I've been using this coffee for 19 years since I opened. They are very successful also in Italy. The company grew a lot there too.
Yeah.
But it's the beans. The beans makes it's the second things that makes the coffee amazing.
So the reason why the other coffee tastes, well, it's the beans, but it's also, that it's just more intense. Like the way is it because you make it you make it stretto? You make it like with a very small amount of water?
Yeah. So we make the cafe, the espresso has to be, it's got to reach a level inside of the cup. Here in America, they keep their water running. That's why you get these espressos that are watery. They don't even look good when they serve it to you. You already know that something is weird. Now, there is one thing. When you get an espresso, there is this very thick cream that lays on top. And when you put a spoon of sugar inside, if the sugar stands and takes, I think, something like 6 seconds to go down, then you know that the espresso is really made the way that it should.
Really?
Yes, we call that the island. It's the sinking island, because you put the spoon of sugar on it, and then you see that the island, basically the sugar is start to suck into the cream, and it goes down. And that's when the sugar takes a longer time to go down, the espresso cannot be wrong.
Really? So that's how you know if it's watery or not.
That's correct.
6 seconds before the sugar falls.
Gotta stay on the surface of the cream. Yes. So the less thick is the cream, the faster the sugar sinks into the bottom of the cup.
That is very interesting. But there is no way to tell with a cappuccino or something like that. That's just based on the foam and,
Exactly. It's based on the foam. It's a thicker foam, so it takes forever to go down.
Very interesting. Okay, so that brings us to now. Before we get to that, I guess, prior to the whole pandemic thing, you would say the pizza business in Wicker Park, it's been getting harder, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Because of the competition?
Also, you got to understand there is a lot of places in the last decade, that's what I noticed, a lot of bars start to offer pizza on their menu. Because a lot of people don't know, but number one food sold in the food industry is pizza.
Makes sense. It's my favorite food.
Yeah. It's only, and so I start to see on the menus of those bars, get a pint of beer and get a free pizza. So, you give the opportunity to people to eat pizza everywhere nowadays. So once you eat pizza once or twice a week because you are sitting in a bar and chit-chatting with your friend, then the rest of the week you really don't get to think, oh, maybe I'm going to order a pizza. Because, there is so much is offered everywhere. Now, when they offer you a free pizza, I will be kind of scared, what kind of product they put out there. But people, when they're drinking, don't really pay attention to that.
Well, you know what people say about pizza is like sex, even when it's bad, it's good, which that's not true on either fronts.
Yeah. And also pizza, if you want to really get drunk, you keep drinking, then you eat pizza. The pizza, the actual, any rice dough, like also the bread, it will absorb the alcohol, and so it will allow you to drink even more.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think one of the reasons why it's been introduced in the bar menus is also that.
That's interesting.
But
you've been getting a lot of restaurant competition all around.
There is so much choice. Definitely. But, as you see on Division, people open and people close. Because, it became such a trendy and famous street. The rents are skyrocketing. I've been there forever. Thank God I got a very long lease, luck and a cheap price, and I have an angel for a landlord. So, I'm not going anywhere. That's why a lot of places they had to close down, because the competition is crazy. It is definitely. And, every time they open a new place, people get curious to try. Then, it's up to them to choose if they're going to go there again or try their food again. But some people don't last in business very long on that street. And the major reason is too many places and the rents are too high on Wicker Park.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So come, what was it? Beginning of March, end of February? When did the ball drop?
For me was, so what I did, I closed the store for the whole month of April. And not because
when did everything go to shelter in place? I can't even remember.
I think it was the 27th of March. Right. Okay. After 2 weeks after they closed the school, things start to get a little bit more, panicking and fear. those politicians, those media channels, they play a big role in the minds of people, which is also fair, and right, because, you have to be aware of what's going on. And I remember it was a Monday morning. I think it was March 27th. I'm not sure about the date. So I came to open the store and I noticed that the street was empty. And then one thing that struck me was the Starbucks next door to me was closed. Those big corporations do not shut down. There is nothing that makes them shut down. So I thought, oh man, if Starbucks is closing down, maybe I should definitely give it a toss. So what I did, it didn't take me much, 15 minutes. I made that group text for my employee and say, you know what, we stay home. I want to be safe. I want to make sure your families are safe. And we got to figure out what's going on before we're going to reopen the store. Which, for me, work in a different way, because after 19 years of working almost every day, man, the first 10 years, there was no vacation for my family. And not because I didn't have the money to do it, but it's because this business absorbs your life. It becomes, I spend more time in my business than I do I spend at home. Maybe my kids are happy too about it. Who knows? But I knew the pizza will thrive. Pizza business is good in good economy. I told you, we were having a conversation about that before. In good economy, pizza business is good. In bad economy, is even better because it's a cheap food. You can really satisfy the appetite of an entire family, keeping it, on a very low budget. And so that's why I was not scared that this coronavirus will affect dramatically my business. People gotta eat, there is no way. And we are in America. Not a lot of people can cook. There is not really a big tradition of food here. If you see, most of the successful restaurants come from ethnicity. They are actually not American. They are immigrants that come from all over the world, and especially in poor country. In poor country, people must know how to cook, to prepare their food, because they cannot afford to go out and dine al fresco, 7 days a week, And so that's why, it's. I know that for me, this is not gonna be bad. It's not gonna put me out of business. Let's put it away. For sure, sales are less. But hey, you gotta work on what you have. You cannot always think that you hit the jackpot every day of the week. Mm-hmm. There are good days and bad days. As long the bad days are less than the good days, and then you're gonna be staying in business. You're not gonna go nowhere.
Sure. So you closed the restaurant for what, a month?
For a month. And it wasn't, I told you, it was not because the business was going to be bad. It's just because I needed a break. Because even if I go on vacation, the employee will call you with any problem that they have, from, a pipe that burst, or an oven doesn't work, and the fryer, and the guy doesn't show up at work. But this time, there was no phone call. I had a blast. I had an entire month, full time, full immersion with my family, with my wife.
So it was your first vacation in 19 years.
A real vacation, the first real vacation, when your thoughts don't go to your business, then you are in vacation.
Yeah.
If your mind doesn't think, oh, what's going on there, or what are the sales today, or the vendor deliver the flour, or your mind that takes you live a different life. For me, was I have people calling me. I have people on Facebook write to ask our customer. A lot of customers that became friends over time. I've been there for 19 years, generational. I saw kids from being in the stroller today. They go to college. So, like you said, some people tell me that I'm the mayor of Division Street. I'm one of the oldest in business, and so. For me, it was more to take a break. They give me really the opportunity to take a break without feeling guilty, because everybody else was closed.
Yeah. So you took a break, and then why did you start back up? Because you needed to get the cash flowing. You were bored.
Because my employees start to call me and say that they were running out of money. And so, their rents were due, their phone bills, the refrigerator need to be stocked. Some of them were going crazy to stay home, and so I say, okay, you know what? Let's do this. I told them at the end of the month we reopen. We're gonna go full scale. I had to reduce the hours, as you know. You came to my store many times past midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock.
That is another great thing about Pizza Metro. It's no in normal times. What's it open till 4 o'clock?
3 o'clock. It used to be. Then I took it to 3 o'clock in the morning. Yes. But because all those bars that they open on the streets, like we say, when at 2 o'clock the bar closed, the zombie are coming, because when you're drunk, you want to eat, and pizza is the perfect food if you really had a long night of drinking,
So, okay, so you decided, so now you decided to decrease the hours. What are the hours now?
From 11 to 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. And the reason is because there is no more gathering, there is no partying in the houses. So this late night business is not gonna happen for a while, I guess.
Yeah.
It's very intense because the business is concentrated. You get this crazy rush for lunch, and then you get this crazy rush for dinner, and then it dies completely. So basically, literally, instead to stay open until 11 p.m., I could stay open until 9:30 or 9 o'clock, and the other 2 hours there is no orders. Maybe we get 2-3 orders in 2 hours, But I do it just because of the guys. They need the hours. I promised them that I will try to slash the hours as little as possible. So what I do now, for example, I make the shift in the morning to come a little bit earlier, so can they do the prep instead to do it while we are open. People needs money. In order to live in this society, you definitely need a steady flow of cash coming to you.
Right.
And I have some employee. I have a guy that's been with me for 18 years now. So how can you tell these people, I don't feel like reopening because I'm having a good time in my house. Is also, you have to reward the loyalty of those guys. And that's why when they start to call me, I say, we're going to reopen. I could have gone all the way to the 31st of May, but, I'm also like an ant. I save, what I make, I'm a big saver. And I knew that situation like this can happen, in our lifetime, from a recession during the economy. Now this virus, I never thought something like that I will witness, but it happened, and now you gotta just try to reshape your business. Some people unfortunately are not gonna be able to do that because of the way that their business was structured from the very beginning. Some of them are gonna close down for good, but I believe that there are gonna be new ideas coming up and new business are gonna open. I'm not talking about the food industry. People are going to come up with a crazy idea that will just definitely work, are going to be attractive. It's going to be a new thing, and people are going to support them.
No, absolutely. Fortunately for you, you're not having to alter your business that much, it seems like. But you're part of the whole restaurant community in Chicago. So what are you seeing? What are people doing? What should they be doing? And what do you think is going to happen?
So what I want to tell the people is this. If you have a favorite restaurant or a favorite spot that you go, you should definitely contact these places directly. I say do not use the apps, DoorDash, Uber. Those just help another CEO to buy a great mansion in Hawaii or send his own kids to the best colleges available. Or instead, when you call business direct, the owner of the restaurant or fast food or whatever business you are dealing with are supporting the families of his own employee, his own family, his own kids. and there is not a 30% cut that has to pay out to people like DoorDash.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of pizza places now, even pizza places, where you can't, they don't have delivery people. So you have to order from the app.
I
They
know,
make you.
and they don't have they don't have this because those apps took this business away. I used to have, and my place is very small. I used to have 4 drivers for a 700 square feet. It is a pretty decent number of drivers. But think about bigger places when they start to lose business and they cannot afford to keep those drivers on payroll. And those guys, what they do, they turn into DoorDash, thinking is a better fit for their needs.
Yeah.
But actually, it's not true because DoorDash, especially DoorDash is an evil company, if you ask me. Actually, I want to say that from Monday, I'm not going to use DoorDash because they give me so much headaches, and we're going to get there later. But if you think they take advantage of their drivers, they steal their tips, they guarantee minimum wage is not always respected. Those guys are out there. They are first responder, if you ask me. They got to come, pick up the food, they drop it to somebody else. I don't see them wearing any kind of gear, mask or gloves. People are very skeptical, and I see on the faxes of Grubhub it says contactless delivery. Contactless delivery is because I drop it in front of your house. But did you see the driver that brought the food to you? My drivers, I made them, they got masks. Each one of them carries at least a box of gloves inside of their car. I bought the disinfectant for them to keep in the car at the whole time. And if they show up at the store, they don't have the mask and the gloves, I'll send them home. And I call somebody that is off. And this is because I want to make sure that the customer understands that we are trying everything possible to make sure that the food that gets delivered safe and there is no cross-contamination. Also, DoorDash, those apps, they don't have control over their drivers. We had multiple occasions, people said that there was missing food inside of their pizza boxes. Those people are, you don't know who they are. They don't have no loyalty towards the company. They know they're such.
Yeah. Do you do caviar? Caviar is the only one that I've been able to do.
Caviar, I do that. And they are pretty good. Their percentage
slightly better. Better.
But unfortunately, they take 30% of every order that they send you.
My God.
Now, what drives me crazy is this. So if you go on one of those apps, you pick Pizza Metro or any other place, and you go on the website of Pizza Metro, a cheese pizza is $20, let's say. Now, if you go to DoorDash, the same pizza, I had to charge $26. Now, the millennial, they think it's cool to have the app. They feel like they are living in the trend moment. Oh, yes, I use DoorDash. I use Uber. Yes, and they don't understand that they're getting overcharged.
Marco, I think you have to remember there's a certain, and this makes me sound so old, like starting to talk shit about lower generation, but younger people, they're afraid to talk on the phone. And so
they are afraid to talk to any person.
Yeah, they're afraid. Look, you have kids. They don't like to talk on the phone.
Oh my God! I tell them that they live in a 5-inch screen world. That's what they are. They are with the phone in the front of their face at the whole time. But I'm a kind of a
right. So calling somebody to order a pizza. That's dramatic. That's scary for them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they you see how they text at the speed of light that they can push those letters on the phone. I tell them I cannot do that. I have my youngest. He's 10 years old. I tried to call him a couple of times one day, and he replied to me, "Only text." And I send him a text that says, "In the next 10 minutes, your phone will be disconnected." And that's when I got a phone call right away, because I told him, I do not text. I don't have time to be with I have very fat fingers, and I cannot even, every time I want to put an M, I catch another letter, and I got to erase and restart again. So I tell him, for me, it's a lot easier to talk, even with an accent. You can understand me better than when I send you a message.
So, all right. So People are going to have to reinvent themselves. Um,
I'll tell you what I think is gonna happen.
who's gonna survive and who's not going to survive? And you were giving me some interesting predictions the other day.
So what I think is gonna happen is because for now it's all based on lunch and dinner. Let's say, most of the restaurants are open lunch and dinner. I don't even want to think about the breakfast time. Who's gonna really do good is the people that are gonna use social media as an exposure. Uh, they're gonna put up videos with new food that they're making. I show you, I sent you a couple of videos. I was doing some new experiments. They're coming out right. Hopefully, we're gonna be ready to go very soon, and that is gonna be as soon as the offices are gonna reopen. Because having a Starbucks next door and see a line of people there, I'm gonna bring for the whole month to everybody that is standing outside those free. I don't want to say what it is because otherwise people are going to start to get ideas. And I'm going to give it for free to the people that are standing in front of Starbucks.
But can you
Yeah.
do that in these times? Have somebody come out and be...
Oh, yes. If it's a nice package and sealed, you come with the uniform of Pizza Metro, I'm legit. I come from the next door business. A lot of people.
I see. So you're not going to be passing these things out with the tongs and...
No, not the tongue,
It's not the farmer's
napkin.
market anymore.
No. It's not gonna be in a package. And after they try it, I'll guarantee you, Starbucks a coffee, and then they're gonna come out for our new item, a Pizza Metro. And I want to start at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I want to really hit the people that start to go to work. That they get their coffee to go, and then they're gonna get our stuff together.
Okay.
So what I think is going to be really based on social media. You will see a lot of restaurants are going to have multiple Instagram. They're going to publish videos and things. That's how I think people are going to really make the restaurant thrive. Also, I think a lot of people are going to close. So there is going to be less competition on the streets.
Yeah.
Big restaurants are, I don't know, depends how the people are going to play with the fear that they have about this coronavirus. We got to see the new guidelines that the city is going to put for the restaurants. Some people are not, the numbers will not add up to stay in business. If you have 100 seats in the house and they slash down to 30 seats, believe me, the landlord is not going to come to you and give you 30% or 40% or 50% off on your rent because the bank doesn't give him a 40% or 50% discount on his mortgage.
Yeah.
So, some people are going to be forced to go out of business. I just heard that there is a bar that I think is in the 2100 block of Division Street that opened up about 8 months ago when the governor extended the stay home until the 31st of May. They put a sign outside that says we will not reopen because we don't have enough money to keep paying, the fixed expenses, including the rent, and the landlord is not giving us a break. You can decide to do not pay the rent, but as soon as the courts are going to reopen, they're going to try to do an eviction. So basically, what are you going to gain? Nothing. That's what is scary. A lot of people are going to be losing jobs and businesses, definitely. Also, I think we're going to face a very bad economy in the future months. And even if America usually gets affected less than the rest of the world, we live in America. So some people are going to be definitely affected by this recession. Look at the unemployment rate right now. It's scary. It's scary,
You
And
were
now
talking about the employees before, how you were maybe worried more about the employees than the people. Yeah, explain that.
So how I see it is most of the people that works, especially in the kitchen. I talk in the kitchen because our dining room, there is no dining room at Pizza Metro. Even the cook can take your order. Yeah, I don't need a waiter. I don't need a busboy to clean after you finish to eat because the guy is across from you. He can remove the dish or he can just serve it to you. What I'm worried about is this. Most of the people that works in the kitchen, they probably don't make those big money. They don't have a car, so they gotta rely on public transportation. And on public transportation, people are gonna get infected 100% by the virus. So they're gonna come to work. They don't know they are infected. They're gonna come to work few days before the symptoms are going to show. And sure enough, maybe by the time they show symptoms, somebody else is got infected. And that's when a lot of restaurants are going to start to close. But every business, not a lot of restaurant, anybody that's got employee that use public transportation are definitely a risk. I think I heard that, for example, Target closed. I have one of my employee, for example. We were opening on Monday, the 27th of April. And on Sunday night, he called me and he says, listen, my wife works at Target. There were 3 people tested positive. They shut down their location. And now everybody that work there has to be in quarantine. Sure enough, days later, he called me and he said that the wife had the coronavirus. Now, they are young people. They sail it through without no problems. But that means if she got it, he got it. And so now he cannot come back to work for a month because it takes a month before everything is done in your body. And that's what I'm going to see. There's going to be businesses that are going to reopen. And sure enough, if somebody on their staff gets infected, they are going to be forced to close. You cannot risk to spread this through your business to your customers, because the customer, when they order from you, they hope and they want to believe that you're taking all the safe measure for them to get safe food into their homes, because those people probably have older people living in their house with underlying condition, no young kids, and you will see a lot of people are going to reopen and they're going to be forced to close. And also, I think those are the guidelines. If you have an infected person, you have to notify the city, and you got to definitely.
But you had an infected person, right?
I had a guy that called me before, and he told me that he will not come to work because of his wife.
Okay, so you didn't have anybody that was at work that got infected and you had to send home.
Yesterday was a scary day. We received a phone call from one of my cooks, and he tells me of the sudden that he's in great pain. He cannot come to work. Now you have to understand, employees are afraid to lose their jobs, so they're not going to tell you the truth. I mean, some might, but some will not, because they have people depending on the job for getting the refrigerator with food. So obviously, this guy, first thing he tells me, this is not a coronavirus. And I'm thinking, you work in the kitchen, you're not a doctor, how do you know? But then, thank God, this cousin last night, they sent me a message, say, we are in the hospital, he's got to go in surgery, he had an appendix attack, they're going to remove the screw. So in that moment, I felt like $1 million. Oh, thank God. But I know that there is already been business. And look at those meat packing company, like Tyson. They got the people infected, and then they have to shut down. You have to for the safety of your own employee and for the safety of your clients, your customers, because they are the one that support your business. So you must do it. You're going to lose money.
So what would you do if he had it? What would you do? What would be your next course of action?
I will shut down. I will shut down the business. You have to, because you don't know.
For how long?
At least 2 weeks to be in the clear for everybody.
Wow.
And so now, again,
so if you're a huge place, it's more likely to happen, and it's going to be a bigger deal to shut down.
Exactly. And think about after you've been so long without being open, now you reopen, and all of a sudden someone gets infected. Now you got to shut down again. That is going to hurt your wallet. That is going to hurt your business, definitely. Now they give those loans for the employee for 8 weeks. But I'm wondering, what happens if you get the loan, you start to reopen, you start to pay your employee, everybody's happy, and then somebody get infected? It doesn't matter if the government give you money. You got to shut down your business, period. And then, I don't even know, what does it cost to call a company to disinfect your entire store? I don't know, because right now those people are going to jack the price to the stars.
That's what I'm just saying. That's probably one of those good businesses you're talking about.
Oh, exactly. They're going to thrive. This is their time to thrive, believe me. And even if you don't say nothing or you're trying to hide that one of your guys got infected, I mean, one fell sick, 2 are going to fall sick, 3 are going to fall sick. How long you want to stay open? I mean, me personally, if somebody in my store gets infected, I will be so scared for my family.
And for you.
And for myself. But unfortunately, you are in this business, you gotta deal with that. But I will shut down the business. I will definitely shut down the business. I will not.
For 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks until everybody's on the clear. And then what about if during these 2 weeks you get phone calls from 2 or 3 employees that are sick too? Now think about it. Those people get sick. 2 weeks is to figure it out if you have it, but then it takes another 2 weeks to get it out of the system. So now it's a month. Okay, you reopen, and this virus didn't go away. Another guy gets an L train, gets in the bus, and he gets it again. For how many times can you keep opening and shutting down? Stuff, food gets rotten.
So it sounds like what you're saying is if there's a restaurant we have that's a favorite restaurant and it happens to be open right now, we should go and get food while we can.
Exactly, because you don't know when they're gonna get a problem. If there is always the guy that wins the lottery, right? So you might be lucky now. For me, I'm very lucky because first I have a very long time employee, and at least I will say out of 14 people that I have, 12 they have their own transportation. So, and that's why when they first came to the restaurant to work, I noticed, I had a couple of guys that coming in the store. I don't see no gloves, no mask, and I know that they take the bus. And I asked them the first question: do you sit when you take the public transportation? And they say, oh, obviously. I mean, you're talking about 20, 22 years old. You should be moving the mountains and not sitting down during the ride on the bus. And I tell them, this stuff can get attached to your clothes. You bring it inside of the store. You bring it inside of your household. You're going to get people sick. So that's why I made mandatory. I order 4 cases of gloves. Now I order the shields, the surgeon shields. I have the masks already. You saw I made the Pizza Metro mask, right?
Yeah.
Because I told them, when you get the bus, you gotta wear gloves. You get off of the bus, you gotta toss those gloves in the garbage. You walk inside of the store, straight to the bathroom, wash your hands with hot water and soap, then put the gloves back in, and then you wear the mask at the whole time. It's very important. If the employee pays attention while he's coming to work, he's gonna lower the chances to contract the virus and also infect others.
Well, I hope that the other restaurants are paying attention like that. It sounds like you.
I'm afraid. I'm Italian. Our country got hit the worst.
Well, that was what I was going to ask. I mean, you must know some restaurant owners over there. So.
And that's exactly what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for them to give the final guidelines, because I really believe that America will follow the guideline, most of the guidelines that they're going to apply in Europe, because they are reopening right now. And so America will look what they do and will apply.
You really think that America does that these days? That we actually care what other people are doing?
I mean, but it depends. I will. I'm not a politician. I mean, for me, it's important, my business. I love what I do. I mean, I've been doing this since I'm 14 years old. So I don't know how to do anything else.
Are the Italian restaurants opening up?
Yes. The bars. Now they started with the bars, for the espresso and cappuccino. But it's crazy. I saw just this morning this video, the first bar that opened in this town. It was, the people goes to get espresso at 6 o'clock in the morning. Like you see a line outside of Starbucks. We do the same for the espresso in the morning.
Yeah.
And basically, you can only allow one client at a time. And you got to keep a distance from you and the customer of 2 meters. So when the customer reaches at the counter for the espresso, the guy that made your espresso is got to walk away. And then when the guy finished to drink espresso, he's going to pay. Now, this customer is got to step back those 2 meters again.
Oh
the guy's got to reach for the money. The guy was saying he's going to be crazy. But for as crazy as it sounds, first safety. But also you got to understand it's the new normal. This is going to be the new normal until we figure out how to solve this problem. And I think the restaurants owner or the bar owners and the customer are going to just go find with the new guidelines. There is no other way around,
But I mean,
Um,
these restaurants that are in Italy that have been open for 50 years, 100 years, what? I mean, they can't just close.
but eventually they will. Eventually they will. You know, it's all based on your fixed expenses. You know, if your rent is very high and they slash the capacity of your place, yeah, the numbers are not gonna add up. You know, it's unless you're gonna charge a fortune for your food, but then you know what happens. People are gonna shop somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's it's like what you call a catch. What's called catch 22, catch
Catch
23.
20.
But
Oh man.
and I think also, okay, they say now the summer is coming. Maybe we're gonna be lucky that if it's true what those scientists are saying, that the hot temperature are gonna diminish the spreading of the virus. Maybe in the summer, restaurants are gonna thrive. Unfortunately, with a limited capacity, limited
Yeah.
seating.
But I mean, it's warm in other places, and it doesn't seem to have stopped the virus. So,
True. But I saw that Florida, for example, was with the cases was going is exactly the same as in Illinois, but now all of a sudden stop. The temperatures are higher. I don't know. I'm telling you, I'm gonna look at what they do in Italy, and then I'm gonna definitely try to apply the same things that they're doing there. Now,
really,
for me, it doesn't really change much because my seating capacity is small. I don't get 20 people sitting inside of Pizza Metro all the time. For me, it's they come, they get a slice, they eat, and they leave. So I have a more of a rotation
so
of
how many
customers.
people? How many people will be allowed to eat
Oh,
in Pizza Metro?
I think if we are lucky, four in the same time
Yeah.
inside. Outside is a different thing. Thank God the
Right.
division has got
Right.
those wide sidewalks. So, people got patios. Maybe, I don't know, in the summer, I usually have seven tables. My occupancy card for the
So
patio is 20.
outside is probably going to be very popular if people can
And,
sit
and I
outside.
think everybody's going to get business now because, you're going to go to a restaurant and they already have let's say they have 5 tables outside and they're already full. Now they tell you, you got to wait an hour. And people don't want to wait an hour when they're going to eat. So they're going to look for a restaurant that doesn't have nobody sitting down outside, and they're going to pick the restaurant to have their meal. Now,
Yeah.
that the meal is going to be of your like or not, it doesn't matter. But you will sit down that very day because it's the only free place that you find to sit down, and you don't have to wait
That's
an
what's
hour.
great about West Division. You have
Definitely, those sidewalks are a winning
it's like Europe.
situation.
It's like
Yes,
Europe. It's the best.
it's a
It's the
little
best street
European
in it's
street.
the best street in Chicago.
Definitely. Nobody's got sidewalks so wide anywhere. That's what was one thing that really hit me when I found my spot. The size of the sidewalk. Yeah, very
It's a
limited.
it's a, it's a unique street. Somebody was telling me that it's the widest street in Chicago.
And my landlord explained to me why, because I don't remember in which year the sidewalks of Division Street they start to collapse. So
Yeah.
what they did, they had to reopen everything, and that's what they did. They made it wider, and that's why they are like this. It wasn't like this in the beginning. I don't remember. He told me, yeah, we're talking about a few decades back, because my landlord owns the building for. Oh, she's
But
a.
how would they make the sidewalks wider? I mean, the buildings still were the same distance across on the street. I mean, this must have been like,
Oh,
80 years ago or
yes.
100 years ago.
The son was telling me, not the mom, because the mom is 80 something years old. I think she was her first property that she bought when she came to America. I think she owns the building for already over 50 years.
Hmm.
So that's why one time we had a leak of gas, and the gas people came to the store. They want to shut me down because they said there was a leak in the store. And I told them, no, there is no leak, and they couldn't find the leak in the store. They have those machines that they detect the gas leak. So it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and I called the landlord. I said, "I'm sorry to call you this time." The guy came down, And he told them, this is the problem is not inside of the store. It comes from the streets. So they start to open holes first on the street, then on the sidewalk, and then decide to stop because they couldn't find the gas line. But thank God the landlord was there and says, because you are breaking ground in the wrong place. I said, I know exactly where everything runs. I saw when they redid the whole sidewalk here. And sure enough, the guy was right on the money. Where he told them to break, that's where they found the gas line and they found the leak. Obviously, the pipe was over 60 years old. It was all rotten, That's why you could smell this gas coming from the cracks of the sidewalk. It wasn't a pizza metro. It was the outside.
Oh my
So
God.
I'm very lucky that those sidewalks are like this, and every other store on division, takes advantage of the situation.
It's perfect. I mean,
Yes.
Milwaukee's an okay street, or Armitage is an okay street, but it's nothing like it.
Nah, not even North Avenue. I will never switch my location to go on North Avenue. I'll tell you.
No, I mean North Avenue is okay, but it's not. It's nothing the same.
Nothing close to what we have on Division Street.
Is there anywhere else in Chicago you can think that's...
If you find something is not gonna be in a neighbor close to the center of the city, it's gotta be some new neighbors that probably then they are redoing things. I think I saw it maybe west of Irving Park, but are we talking about west? I'm talking about past California on Irving Park. I think there is a part of Irving Park that has got very wide sidewalk, but also you're west of California. You're kind of far away from the reach of certain clientele that you want to come and shop in your store. People that work on Wicker Park. That's why the festivals. I love it. I
know. It's gonna be a different summer.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, everything is gonna change. Everything is gonna change until they come up with some kind of cure or
vaccine or something.
Yeah, vaccine. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of those vaccines. So.
Oh, don't tell me you're one of those people.
Listen.
Come on, you please tell me you have your kid's vaccine.
Yes.
Okay.
You have to, otherwise they cannot go to school. But I can tell you one thing: I never allowed doctors to give my kids the vaccine at one time. I have always paid extra money, and I paid them to give the vaccine. Because the vaccine is 3 vaccines in one.
Yeah.
But you can have 3 vaccine given in a different time. It is more costly, but it's fun.
Why?
Because they give you those vaccines and it's a bomb that the body receives, and all the kids, when they tell you, the kids can have fever, but this is normal, it's a side effect. It is not normal that you inject a kid with something and then he gets a high fever. So I found a doctor extremely enlightened me. I brought this issue. I told him I'm not against the vaccine itself. Well, I got vaccinated too, but when I was a kid. But I told him, this thing that in America they give you so many vaccines all at once, and then he says, there is a way that you can actually. It's going to cost you more money.
I could see that, but I was thinking, some of these people think, oh, I gave my kid a vaccine and now he's autistic, and I'm just like, fuck you, you're an idiot,
My theory, I'll tell you one thing on that, is I think that the vaccine was given to the parents and they brought the kid to be autistic. I don't think it's the vaccine given to the kid directly.
Exactly.
Then every other kid, they should be autistic every time they get vaccinated.
Exactly. Exactly. They're crazy.
Something in your body, the human body is an unbelievable machine. It might be that when they give a vaccine to you, it creates some kind of reaction.
No,
and then,
the two had nothing to do with each other. The people probably read something on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then they said, oh, that sounds like me. Oh, yeah, that works.
Like the actor, Jim Carrey, that is against the vaccination. I think he's got one of his kids is autistic,
Oh, he is. He is.
Oh, yes.
Don't tell Stephanie about that. She hates she hates those anti-vaccinating people. But
Yeah. Also, I want to say something. I want to spend also a word in favor to these people. In Africa, kids don't get vaccinated and they leave. They usually die for starvation. They don't die of diseases. So it's if you think
how do
about
you
it.
know that? Where are you getting that from? They die of
Look up.
diseases.
No, I mean they die of diseases. What kind of diseases they die? Because poor hygiene, because there is not access to running water. But those kids that don't, it's they're strong. For me, they are stronger than our kids. Their immune system is way stronger because look what they gotta go through their entire life. I mean, the body's in a war with all sort of contamination and scarcity of food, running water.
Yeah, I
And
think they die of a lot of diseases, though. I think
yeah,
they do.
and whoever makes it, they're the strongest. Believe me, they're how you call it, the fittest of
Bull.
it's crazy. But I don't know. I'm not this vaccine. I will not get a vaccine. If it happens, I don't feel like
What?
I want to get a vaccine. No.
Why not?
Because I'm gonna let the other people get vaccinated, and so they cannot infect me.
I hope you reconsider that.
I'll tell you this, Noah. If they do mandatory vaccination, you're not gonna see me around. Nobody tells me what I put in my body. I decide. It's my shrine. It's nobody else's shrine. I'm 50 years old. I don't want to get something in my body that can create some kind of reaction. Because unfortunately, there is a small it is true that there is a small percentage of people that have bad reaction to vaccine. But no, I'm not talking about autism. Other kind of
Yeah, that's bullshit.
You think so? I mean, there is people that unfortunately after they get vaccinated at an older age, they get some kind of reaction. But my father, for example,
But you're not going to get the coronavirus vaccine if they have one?
If they say it's mandatory, absolutely not. If it's on free will to do it, I might. But if it's a government thing that they say you must be vaccinated, I'm sorry. No government never tell me what I put inside of my body unless I agree to it. I'm scared about these mandatory things. Dictatorship are not my kind of ideology. Let's put it this way. I like freedom of choice.
But you let your kids get vaccinated.
Yes, but you see how I did it. I pay more.
Okay, sure, but you still had them vaccinated.
Yes, yeah. But because I had to. But then I'll tell you in private more about the vaccination of my kids.
Va bene. Well, thank you so much, Marco.
You're very welcome, Noah. It was a pleasure, as always.
It was really fun, as always. And I think it's going to come out this Friday. And I will send you a link, and you can publicize it. And if
obviously,
you'd like.
I'm gonna put it on the Pizza Metro Facebook. Are you kidding me?
Fantastic.
Yeah,
I wish you the best in all of this craziness.
I wish the best to all the restaurateur, all the people in the hospitality industry. We gotta be strong. We're gonna come out, and we're gonna come out stronger than before. We're gonna come up with ideas, and things are gonna just work just fine. We gotta just adjust, to the new guidelines and the new situation.
No, it's really good to hear you say that.
And wash your hands, guys. Wash your hands at the whole time.
Ciao, ragazzo.
Ciao, grazie, Noah. Ciao.
Ciao.